Welcome to the OnlyFans Secrets Marketing Podcast. The goal of this podcast is to help both new and established OnlyFans creators learn the basics of online branding, marketing, and promotion to help you make more money with your content and maximize your time online. My name is Richard Lewis, and I have over 20 years of internet marketing experience. So let's get started with today's topic. And that topic is how to stay relevant on OnlyFans. Okay, so let's be honest. The world is a crazy place right now. The absurd has almost become commonplace. People barely bat an eyelash to what 20 or 30 years ago would have been scandalous and shocking. That creates an environment where it's almost impossible to stand out or stay relevant. On OnlyFans, if you don't stay relevant, your subscribers will move on. So in this episode, we'll discuss how to stay relevant on OnlyFans. All right, so number one, don't get stuck in quote unquote your ways. If you've ever said, when I was younger, we did it this way, things are going to get worse from there. So if yesterday everyone was making money from subscriptions, and now everyone is making money from tips, set up a system for tipping. Don't wait for a trend to come back around. Once the bus has left the station, it's not coming back for you. So if you are right now, doing something and it's not working the same way that it used to, you definitely want to make a change, switch it up. So people will notice that you're trying to stay relevant and with the current times. And definitely with OnlyFans, it's evolving a lot. So for a lot of people, they are making money specifically on tips, where before people were making it on subscriptions. So there's a bunch of now new different ways that you can make money from the site. So you want to go ahead and adjust your marketing, your strategy, along the way to make sure that you are reaching people in a way that they right now want to be reached. Okay, so number two, don't be afraid to brag a little. I know that no one likes people who are self-absorbed, or do we? So in order to stay top of mind, you need to remind people how badass you are sometimes. Do you have more content than other people? Do you look better in a bikini than other people? Let them know. Mention it in your promotion. People do actually like to be informed that someone is good or has confidence in themselves. So you don't want to be an egotist. You don't want to be so out there that people are like, that's just too much. But if you don't have a little bit of confidence or enough confidence, people will notice that as well. So if you're achieving things, if you have had accomplishments, a certain number of subscribers, hit percentages, I say yes, let people know. There's definitely this concept that, people don't care that you're in the top 1% or the top 5%. I don't know. I think that people like to see people succeeding deep down, and they like to be around people who are successful. That's our natural drive, in genetics, I think, is to want to be around other people who are successful or seem successful. It's why tall people will seem more successful because they're taller. So again, all these things, you want to let people know, I have achieved, and I am relevant, and should be top of mind for you. Because if you're not out there tooting your own horn, as I like to say, no one else is going to be. And if you toot your horn loud enough, then other people will start maybe saying, hey, who's tooting that horn? And that's what you want. You want a little bit of that. Not so much that it's annoying, that it's drowning them out. And they're like, oh my gosh, when will this horn stop tooting? But you want them to at least be talking about you. That's a great way to stay relevant. And then number three, keep growing your knowledge. Nothing says success like someone who can outwit a competitor. So you do that by, building up your knowledge and becoming a knowledge sponge. If you're not spending a few hours a day learning new skills and techniques, other people are. So even from little things like listening to this podcast or listening to other podcasts that are about marketing and promotion, or reading a book about promotion online, all of those sort of things, they're going to help you, and they're going to keep you, not just excited about working, and being in the industry that you're in, but it's going to give you a leg up on your competitors. And also, when it shows out to your subscribers and to people who are following you that you know a little bit more, that's going to keep you top of mind for them. And number 4, expand your network and then expand it again. So, before Indeed and Monster and LinkedIn and all of those sort of sites, people got their jobs from recommendations from their friends. That's how most all people in the 80s and 90s ended up with jobs and careers. Someone would say, hey, I have this friend who, would really fit this. And then they would get that job. So it's the same way. The more people you have in your circle and the more people you have in your corner, the more likely you are to succeed. And even on a platform like OnlyFans, where it seems like everyone's siloed and isolated, that's not true. People are out there promoting each other, and certainly in the community of creators, you're able to expand yourself out. But not just that, like when you're encountering people who are fans or subscribers or promotion sites or whatever, you can learn from them what they're doing, and you can pick their brain. And once you pick their brain and show them, respect, then they might do things for you, they might help you, they might promote you more, all of that. So the bigger your network becomes, with quality people, the more likely you are to be promoted and to stay relevant. Okay, number 5, take on a protege. So especially a younger one. So we went over an entire episode of the podcast about mentorship, about mentoring. Certainly from that perspective was, hey, you should, have a mentor, but you also can look at it now, especially if you've been established, to go ahead and get someone that you can, mentor yourself. And what you're going to learn is you're going to learn about new things from them. Especially younger people will have those perspectives that you don't necessarily have. So you can learn from them, and, they can learn from you. And I think that's a great way of keeping yourself right on the edge of things, and also keeping yourself relevant within the marketplace. All right, number 6, fail more. So have you not failed at anything this week? Then you're doing business the wrong way. The more you fail, the more you learn. You can't hit a home run unless you swing. And most of those swings when someone's trying to hit a home run aren't a home run. But if you're out there swinging, you will find that you will expand your market. You'll expand the amount of people who will see you. Even when you fail, you still usually fail in a way that you've tried something new and you've learned from it. So overall, I would say that a great way to stay relevant is to be constantly swinging. And most of those things are going to be failures. Most of those new initiatives are going to be failures. Even the things that could technically are relevant right now, like newer ideas, they end up failing, but, on the long term. But in the short term, there's a lot of interest in them. And, that helps build interest back in you and in your brand. So you definitely want to look at right now, like what you're doing. And if everything you're doing every single day is like a single, and I'm using this analogy out to baseball, but basically if everything you're hitting is a single, and that's great, like you're getting on base and things are moving along, but nobody's ever getting home, you're never actually scoring. So, you're like, oh, this is nice and safe, but it's not actually working out well for me. And that's not what you want. You want to go ahead and look for those home runs where you can actually get, those some points on the board, as they say, and not just be doing everything safe in the same way that everyone else is. So definitely think to yourself, am I hitting a bunch of singles, but I'm really not hitting any home runs? It's probably because you're not failing enough. And then number 7, keep up to date with technology and trends. So what's emerging that you need to know about right now? I'll say like early adopters are the first to the market, and they gain those hungry customers, clients, views, etc., however you want to look at it. Like if there's a new trend that's emerging, and as I said, like every single trend actually makes it. But for a little while, people are very interested in it. And you don't really need the people to be interested in it forever. You want them to be interested in you. So if you're out there talking about some new concept, new trend, they are going to stick to you. And even when the new trend, comes along, they might look to you now. So it's more about staying relevant, as far as what's going on. Because again, remember, what you're trying to do is you're trying to build your brand. And whatever you can attach your brand to, as long as it's decent, even if that particular concept fails, now you have more people who are looking at you, who are fans of yours, and you can now, sell them what you want to when it comes to, OnlyFans, or however you want, or whatever you want to sell them. All right. So, and then number 8, pick a new hobby in a trending market. So this is very similar to the last one I just discussed. As much as you may love something like needlepoint, let's say you're very passionate about needlepoint, it makes more sense to look at digital art right now, for instance. For when someone looks for answers for this new hobby or new trend, they are going to look to you. So it's not so much that you have to give up your needlepoint. You could really love needlepoint, but you might want to look at an actual trend that has to do with, promoting yourself for OnlyFans that's more popular and that's more cutting edge right now. And as I mentioned, once you are promoting those trends, those things, and become knowledgeable about them, people are going to look to you as the thought leader, you as the person who is interested in that. And then they are going to end up becoming more long-term fans of yours. Okay, and then number 9, embrace OnlyFans right now in 2021. Okay, so don't like the new terms of service, wish OnlyFans was like it was in 2019 when it started. Tough. It is what it is right now. So you want to go ahead and embrace it, because you're not going to find success back in 2019. You're going to find success in 2021 and 2022. So if there are things about the site that you are not a huge fan of right now, and so you say, okay, well, I don't like this, or I don't want to have to agree to that, or I'm going to move on to another platform. Again, that's your right to do that. But those people who stick around and will actually embrace the marketing and the changes that are being done right now on OnlyFans as it becomes a more mature site are going to reap the benefits of that. So the best way to stay relevant on OnlyFans is to embrace what OnlyFans is right now. So as I mentioned earlier, if people are changing the way that they are making money on the platform, if it's becoming more of a social site where people, end up tipping, then you want to embrace that. You don't want to be stuck necessarily in the ways of 2019 and saying, okay, well, this is the only way I plan on making money, or jumping ship and going to another site that will likely do the same thing once it, matures. So most, sites have a cycle, or most businesses have a cycle, as far as what they do when they start, and then what happens once they are more mature and they have to adapt and grow. So the best way to stay relevant on OnlyFans is to embrace OnlyFans for what it is right now and what it's going to be in the future. And then lastly, number 10, what I call the Madonna rule: reinvent yourself for the times before time, defines you. So make